on this live. But anyway, we haven't been live for a while, and we're very excited that we are going to start again on a regular basis. Alma Valadares, who is the director of the lash extension categories of the Skin Games, has put together a really, really great lineup of speakers. And today she's bringing someone in that actually has a really, really, well, who's huge in the lash industry. And she'll introduce him later, and also about his podcast and things like that. So I'm going to bring Alma up, and let's just see what she's up to. Hi, Alma.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? So how are you, Jennifer?
Pretty good. I'm like already in like week. I feel like it's almost 6 weeks. I've been here ever since the New York show. So as soon as I got back to California, I've been quarantined since then. You know, and it's just weird because every single day they bring up something new. Like, for instance, one of our counties, Sonoma County, I believe, today starts a mandatory wearing of the mask outside.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
we don't have mandatory right now, but we do have highly suggested. You know that. But I'm like you too. I think when I was talking to you when you were coming back from New York, I was kind of not feeling good. I was kind of sick and I had really bad sinus infection. And I actually think was one of the first ones that got tested for the coronavirus. So since March, I think around March 8th, March 11th, around that time, I've been home.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a really long time for me too.
Well, at least you're getting out there and walking and doing stuff like that, right?
Yeah. But there's days, you know, when you come in, like yesterday, I think I called you and I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out, you know? And so I just kind of just dove into working and just kind of got myself, you have to, or else you could go crazy, you know, you really can.
Oh, and it's also really important. Maybe you can ask Paul about this too, about organizing your time, because if you don't have some type of schedule and you're not used to really working at home, it's really hard to just kind of be all over the place and not really get anything done because there's so much going on with the internet. I mean, could you imagine how it would have been maybe 20 years ago if this happened and we didn't have the internet? You know, I mean, what would we do? We'd be a lot more focused then because we'd do homework or housework, work on ourselves or something. That's why the Skin Games has put together selfie categories. So we have a selfie skin category, we have selfie wax, selfie lash, and selfie makeup. And the cool thing about it is it's something fun that you could do while quarantining, but it also goes towards your main categories if you're participating in the Skin Games, towards the cash prizes. And then also, if you don't even care about doing that part and you just want to do selfies, it gives you something fun to do and a really great platform to be promoted from. So maybe you guys can talk about that too.
I'm really excited. The lash selfie, because you're going to be able to do, I'm just really excited for people to bring some of their fantasy stuff and just use what they have at home. They just get really creative, So I'm actually thinking about doing some strap lashes, and actually, believe it or not, look what I'm wearing.
Ooh.
Magnetic lashes. So I retail these magnetic lashes, and they haven't been selling that well, but now, believe it or not, I have clients calling me, do you still have those magnetic lashes with the magnetic liner? I'm like, yes.
Well, I'm going to actually enter the selfie lash one where, it's not really doing lash extensions, but it's off of a strip lash and the whole fantasy idea. I'm doing that. I know I won't qualify because I'm the director and all, but I'm just going to do it because, first of all, it's a great way to get videos out there and to promote yourself, right? And I'm going to do the makeup too, and also the selfie skin too.
Well, it's so funny you said that, Jennifer, because I was thinking, you know what? I'm here. I want to show some talent. So I was thinking about doing like a tutorial for like makeup, for just do a little makeup for older women, just how to do corrective for older women.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and then also to do the skin selfie category, because I'm home, I have products, and why not? Like, I just been doing all these webinars like everybody else has, Zoom trainings, and I'm thinking, well, I think I'm going to start my face needs some work.
Well, we just actually had one of the players turn in her one of her lash categories. I guess she did fantasy, but she ended up doing it on her husband. So I can imagine how many of us will be working on her husband. She did a
I
merman,
know.
a
I
fantasy
know.
merman. Yeah.
Hi, Shirley. How are you?
So do you want to go ahead and introduce our next speaker? And
Yeah.
actually, if you guys
So,
have any questions, I'm going to be moderating on the outside end, and I'll help answer your questions. And if you have anything you want to talk to them about, and they're not seeing your questions, I will pop back in and show you. Okay, Alma?
okay. All right.
So why
So,
don't you go
guys,
ahead and introduce?
so I'm really excited to bring this person on because he's actually, I found out about him last year, and his name is Paul Leubers, and he actually does the LashCast podcast. And him and his wife do this, and let me tell you, they're so awesome. I love them. I love listening to them. They're so inspiring, and also they have so much information. Paul, God, he's just like he's just amazing. He knows every little angle to go and little advices and tips that he gives. So here we go, guys. Here's Paul. He's coming up.
Hello. Hola.
Hola. So, Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, a lot of the lash industry know you. You had a lash conference, and it was amazing for the first year. But a lot of our audience in the skin industry don't know you as much. I would love for them to get to know who you are and what your company, the Lash. Is it the Lash Con still, or
it's called the Lash Conference. We had a copyright infringement issue because a large company bought the rights to it and bought it literally just like a couple of weeks ahead of us. So we had to bow down because we couldn't compete against them. They have billions of dollars, and we have about 2 cents. So it wasn't going to be a fair fight. So yeah, I guess I'll share. I'm the inventor of lashes. You can thank me for no. Basically, we started with a podcast 2 years ago called LashCast, and it was just meant to be a place where me and Tussane could talk about the industry. And we saw a lot of people chatting in Facebook rooms, and a lot of what we thought at times was misinformation. And really, we've been doing this since 2005. I mean, Tussane really started learning lashes in 2005 at Long Beach at a trade show. And she's been doing it forever. And we just kept hearing a lot of misinformation, things that we thought were not correct. And the problem is, who are we? We're no one. So like most of us online, you just talk and people just go, ignore them. And so I just kind of thought, what's a good way to gain authority and to share our wisdom? Because we really want to help the industry. We really want people to have the correct information and not just have any information, because there is so much misinformation out there. So I said, well, no one at this time has done a podcast. There was one other gal who did a podcast called Lash Addict Radio. I actually forget her name. She's the original podcaster, and she did it for maybe a year and then stopped. And then I just told Tuss, let's do it. This is a way for us to share knowledge. We ran a salon at that point for like 11 years. And had been in the business since 2005. So it was like another 12, 13 years in the lashes. So we felt like we had a lot of wisdom, a lot of information. We've been under coaching for like 6 years. So we had a lot. And I really felt like it was just time for them to start sharing without really any expectation from anyone, no money back or like that. And just to help the industry out and give back with some longer term plans to do other stuff, but at least start with a podcast and start helping people. And at that time we had a salon, me and my wife, Tussane, who's on tomorrow, plug for her. We basically were doing, that was our full-time job. And then last year we closed her salon, and now really we're shifting. She's working as a sole entrepreneur, just doing lashes, and I'm working on growing our online stuff because we did LashCon last year, and LashCon was a huge success. Had about almost 300 people at it, and that was for just lash artists. So it was the largest lash gathering ever. And for us,
congratulations to you. That was so amazing. I was getting my lashes done, and somebody told me, "Oh, there's a lash con." I'm like, what is that? I haven't heard of it. Like, I know what's going on.
Yeah, it was basically a business conference for lash professionals, because we saw, much like we saw when we started a podcast, that there wasn't a lot of information. In fact, right after we started, Shelby started her Lash Boss Radio, and then boom, now we have like 15 lash podcasts and even more. I have people now reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I'm going to start a podcast because of you." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Awesome." But
yeah, but your LashCon also the conference wasn't just. I mean, I could see it not just targeting just lashers because there's a lot of good information out there that was for any business owner.
Yeah, no, if you ran a business and you're in beauty, this was perfect for you. That's why we say, even though we say it's for lash professionals, we put beauty professionals in our heading just so, there's some few people here and there from other parts of the world that want to jump in and they will benefit. There was like one class that was lash specific out of 20 some classes. So it was very geared towards generally the beauty, but we're just kind of targeting the lash people because we feel like it's the most underserved part of our lash industry since it's so new. And there's so many other things out there for other people, but lashes really has nothing when it comes to business training. So we decided to do that. And because most lash professionals are accidental business owners, they just took became an esthetician, took a 2-day course, and then went out and opened their own business. And that's just like a nightmare if you really want to go beyond just doing it as a hobby. If you really want to do it as a career, then you really need to be purposeful and mindful and get training, learn how to do business. And that's what we were all about. We're here to provide that training, that information, whether it's our podcast, or it's our conferences, or other stuff that we're working on currently.
Yeah, and it's funny that you said that because me being a solo person working by myself, running a room, right? I hired somebody last year, and I did the whole Square app. And you pay extra, and they do all that employee stuff. Well, yesterday I got a letter from the EDD. Employment. Is it called the EDD, right?
Yep, EDD in California.
So I get that saying that I'm still supposed to file or close it. I'm like, oh shoot, I was having somebody do that for me, and I need to learn how to do this now, which was not a big deal. But it's like you said, you think you know how to do lashes, more besides lashes,
Yeah. No, there's a book called The E-Myth that's really solid for any business owner. They should read it. It's the whole idea, the entrepreneur myth is what it's called. That as an entrepreneur, you should be able to do everything. Like you should be an excellent accountant, an excellent marketer, an excellent lash stylist, an excellent recruiter and trainer and all these things. And you can't. You really can't. You have to really build systems, and then you need to hire out people to help you do those things so that you can do the stuff you're really good at. And then the people that are good at what they do get hired to do it. So that way you're not spread out doing 80,000 things at once, and you can actually be exceptional at what you do. So it's a really important concept, but I think most lash stylists don't know about that. I think as soon as they're working for themselves, they realize, crap, I don't know what I'm doing. And then you get letters from the EDD or from your county tax authority or whatever. Name the weird organization that reaches out to you, and you're like, oh crud, I don't know what to do about this or how to handle this. So or even right now, I mean, the financial disaster that's become America or the world, really, we're in a big mess right now. And a lot of people are scrambling, trying to figure out, where do I get money? Do I borrow? Do I lend? Or do I take the grants? Do I do this? Or do I pay the PPP or whatever? People are wondering what to do. And so, part of what we've done with our podcast over the last few weeks is help provide that kind of information. What can you do? Where can you get help? What is this program? What is that program? Just trying to help educate people so that they can make better choices for themselves and keep their business going, even while it's really difficult right now.
Yeah, I've been listening to you guys, and actually, because days where I'm like stressed out, like I mentioned to you earlier today, I'm like, I almost had a meltdown yesterday. Literally felt like I was panicking. I was telling Jennifer, I've been stuck in the house since probably March 8th, because I was one of the first ones that got tested for coronaviruses,
Good for you, by the way.
I didn't mean to. Let me tell you, it was not the most fun. It was, they put this thing up your nose and it hurt so bad. Yeah. So no, it wasn't like I wanted to. I just had this, they just tested me. So, but yesterday, it finally kind of just hit me yesterday. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, I just started panicking, and I go for walks, and when I do my walks, I listen to your podcast.
Oh,
yeah, it's always fun, and I love all the tips you guys give us, or the advice, and you and your wife are so funny. You guys are great.
Okay.
So one thing I want to know, Paul. So you were in the film industry before this.
Yes, I was working in film in many different roles from basically around. Gosh, I moved to LA basically to get in the film industry. That's back in 1990. What was it, 6 or 96, something like that. So I worked in mostly film development. If for most people don't probably know what that is. Film development is the R&D section basically of the film industry where you are developing scripts. So I'd be reading scripts, we'd be then, after you read the script and you find what you like, then you try to package the film is what they call it. So you go out and you look for funding. You look for, actually really first you look for a director and actors that you can attach to the project. And so I worked with a writing team that were exceptional writers, and they basically I would help them find the scripts or work on their stuff and help fine tune it. And we'd sell some stuff, then we would package some stuff. And I did that until, early 2000s. And then I bounced around, did some of my own things. And then I also worked and helped run a film festival for a while. And then eventually Tussane in 2011. I mean, I helped Tussane from 2005. I was doing her books and I was doing all sorts of stuff for her behind the scenes, but just kind of part-time. But in 2011 is when she finally said, you know what? Actually, we had someone steal $3,000 from us. So after that happened, she said, I really want someone to help oversee the operations. And we were big enough at that time. We had I think 3 or 4 staff, and things were really getting busy. And we wanted to hire another 4 or 5 more staff soon. And so I jumped on and helped, and we grew up to about 13, 14 employees at our height. And then we did that and built their business to a 7-digit salon. So that was really exciting to get there. And then, then with all the drama and craziness came, we learned that we had to learn about business. And that's when we started taking classes and learning to help solve all the problems we were facing being a 7-digit salon, not knowing what we were doing. We hired coaches and we took trainings, and through all that information, we finally got our company, I think, to a much better and healthier place. And thus, now we're trying to do this. We're, close a salon, and now we're trying to help others with their businesses so that they can grow their business wherever they want, whether it want to be a big thing, small thing, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be about ego. It can just be about being happy with producing something that you're proud of.
Now, let me ask you a question. How does it feel being a man and doing in this industry? Because I mean, there are men that want to get involved in this. Like my boyfriend sometimes he'll ask me stuff, but it's funny because you and Tussane have been very successful at this. And there's a few men out there, but not a lot. Many. I see him more in Europe. I don't see him in the United States. So give us a little feedback on that. Yeah,
I mean, in the Lash world, you're right. There's not a lot of men on the front stage or doing stuff that you can see. One of the things that we did like 8-9 years ago, instead of just looking for answers and how to grow our business in the Lash world, we actually went to the beauty world. So we started going to this conference called Serious Business, and we also got connected with other salons in the greater beauty side of the world. So there we found out a ton of men are involved. I mean, almost every salon owner I know is a couple, a man and woman. And so, in case it could be man, I guess, but but it was amazing because I always had a stereotype that, in the industry, it's mostly women and gay men. I thought there were no straight guys actually in this industry. I was like, we're the rarity. And then I found I've met all these couples that were like, oh, wow, the husband's involved. The husband's actually helping run the salon. Oh, the husband's doing the business side. Oh, that's really cool. That's what I want to do. So I actually got inspired by watching a lot of these hair salons and spas and what they were doing and how they were running. And that's really where we learned most of our stuff. Because the truth is the Lash world was so new. There was nothing out there to look at. I mean, back in 2011, when I joined, I mean, there was literally nothing. I mean, I knew of one other guy that was involved in running a lash salon here in LA. And in those days, I only knew the LA area. I didn't know what was going on inside the LA. So I knew all the salons and all the people and players involved. So that's where I kind of got my inspiration. And for me, it's been exciting because I really do want to help bring other skills other than just lashing. I think most lash stylists just focus on lashing, and that's all they're told to focus on. So I felt like it was my job to kind of ring the bell and actually help people understand how to do businesses and all that. And as a guy, it could have been a guy, it could have been a woman, it could have been a dog. It doesn't really matter. There's nothing special about me being a guy with it. It just happened to be where my interest was and my bent. So that's why I jumped in. And it's what I could do too. I wasn't gonna go back to beauty school and learn lashes and do all that. Not gonna happen. Nope. I admire anyone who does lashes, sits there for hours, just micro movements with their hands doing this thing. It's like art, but man, I would just take a gun and shoot myself before I'd have to do that. Because that to me sounds like the worst sentence in life. But yet Tussane loves doing lashes. I mean, for her, it's the greatest thing ever. So it's to each his own, I guess. And not for me, but I do love the business side, and I do love helping people and going to events and socializing, all the networking and the connecting. And I love Instagram. I love, making a fool of myself there all the time. So it's been fun.
Gary's just saying women in gay men.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I also say couples. I went, well, obviously there's more than me. I was just thinking about me and my wife. But yes, there are gay couples that own too. I met a lot of gay couples too that own salons. In fact, good friends of ours own a salon out in the Chicago area, and they are amazing business people. So yeah.
Good. Well, I'm so excited to have you. We're going to have you as one of our speakers for our show in as an education panel when we have our show on Thursday, which is going to be July 30th. So we're super excited to have you, and we're super excited. And if you guys don't know about the Lash podcast, follow them. They're amazing. You guys are doing something different now. How you guys are doing like an Instagram? How is that like? Yeah.
We decided right when we closed a month ago or so ago and had to come home and just sit here in our beautiful house. Not really beautiful, but anyhow, we had to stay here. I just told Tuss, look, we got to be doing stuff. We got to be productive. And there's a lot of people looking for hope right now or looking for something to do. And so we were probably doing one podcast every 2 weeks normally. And we decided that originally I was like, we're going to do it every day. And then I was going to say, we're going to go Instagram live at 6:00 Monday through Sunday. And then first week we did 4, and we didn't do any podcast recording or YouTube. We just did the Instagram lives at 6, and that about killed us. And I was like, okay, can't do that. So we pulled back. Now we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're doing it 3 ways, actually. We're doing it as a Instagram live, but at the same time, we're also recording as of our podcast. So I try to put up later that night on all our podcast platforms. And then also we added now YouTube. So you can, if you think we're actually worth watching, you can actually see it on YouTube, which is a little scary, but that one is not the best quality. I'll admit. It's we're not trying to set up a sound studio. It's actually this background in our house with junk in the background sometimes. So it's just what it is. We always wanted to do YouTube eventually, so we decided why not now. We're doing 3 episodes, and we're keeping it pretty simple. We're not doing just lash business or lashing as topics. We're talking about all sorts of Tuss shares crafts.
You are, because I mean, I know that some of the things that were really helpful were you were talking about like the COVID-19, about the different loans and how people are applying for them. So that was very helpful. Then you start talking about some movies where like,
I thought, why not bring my movie passion into this and talk about the things I love? So I've been trying to find movies that are either uplifting, encouraging, or kind of are relevant to what we're going through right now as a movie review, I guess, or recommendation. So doing that, we're doing a good news of the day. I share 2 or 3 stories of good news, because I think all of us are tired of all the bad news. I mean, like you shared about yesterday, you were telling me that you had a bad day, a hard day. And I think that's just, everyone's having those. I mean, no one's escaping this. Like, this has been nothing. I'm just sitting on my couch. My people bring me grapes, and I drink my wine, and I watch Oprah all day. That's just not, and I'm happy about it. No, if you're even doing that after about 2 days of that, you're like, this sucks, man. I don't like even Oprah anymore. I hate Oprah. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where you got to, think what you're doing and have some people to give you positive things in your life so that you're just not thinking coronavirus every day.
So one of the questions that Jennifer asked me, and we thought we should be asking you, like, how do you guys, because, being at home all day, it kind of like I was telling Jennifer, I needed to just get away yesterday and kind of, we're so used to working with clients. We're not used to just being at home every day, Yeah. So how do you give us some tips of how to plan our day to make it, productive? Because I feel like, okay, I'm going to get on the computer for an hour, and then my boyfriend's talking to me. You want to watch a movie? I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
You want to do so much and get afterward.
No, I mean, I think that it's really overall, we just have to give ourselves a lot of grace to start with and realize we are in unprecedented times. I think I've heard that phrase 1 billion times at this point. And it's not normal what we're going through. It's just very unusual and difficult. So with that, just as a premise, like just say, whatever happens right now is okay. I see some people out there trying to be hyper productive and it's like, if you don't come out with a new skill, new business, you suck, And it's like, well, guys, whoa. This is not the productivity race of the year right now. We got to just chill and give grace. So all of us process loss and difficulties differently. And because of that, some of us are going to go into work mode because that's all we know to do. When things are bad, I just work like crazy. And other people go, I drink a lot actually when it's bad. And other people will be like, I just want to watch TV. And, and we will all bend towards our vices, I think, really during this time. I'm sure every vice on the planet right now is being tested very extremely for most people. And there's just have to be a lot of grace, guys. We're just coping. We're trying to work through this. We're trying to deal with this, and it's not easy. So with that understanding and giving yourself permission to slow down, permission to feel, permission to cry, permission to maybe just have a crappy day where you get nothing done and not beat yourself up because you're in no race right now. There's no race. All the race has been shut down. 2020 in a lot of ways was canceled. Okay. So much has been changed. And when we come out of this in the coming weeks, it's going to be different still. We're going to have new rules of contact. We're going to have new rules of engagement. We're going to have new rules of how we deal with clients. The economy is going to be kind of a mess. So we're going to have to deal with that. Thankfully, we're in beauty. So there's definitely certain recession-proof qualities in our industry. So that's good news. But so it's going to be a little bit different. But for me, actually, Tussane and I are perfectly a good contrast of how this has worked. I mean, Tussane on one side has really struggled because she wakes up every day, right, and knows that I got to do lashes. And she knows exactly what to do. That's my to-do list. I don't have anything else to worry about. Don't wake up, do lashes, and I'm done. And guess what? Kind of like you were saying, you wake up now, you're like, I don't have any to-do list with my lashes. I was 8, 9, 10 hours of my day. All of a sudden, I have those hours back. I'm on the other side. I work every day by myself. I work in a small room. Actually, my office grew when I came home. I usually work in a small little office, and that's where I'm hustling and doing my thing. So for me, nothing really changed because I already had those routines. But one of the things I did do just to help create a little bit more structure is I actually created an Excel sheet, and I decided to really outline my day and to say, okay, I wake up at this time and I do this by this time. I do this by this time. And for Tussane, I've kind of been encouraging her. She's not done as well. And she would admit to this. I'm not bashing her in any way right now. She's just like,
she'll be in tomorrow.
Not her skill. And so for us, I'm trying to say, look, we get up at this time, then we're actually enjoying the mornings a little bit more because we have a little bit more time to actually enjoy things like coffee and just relax and read and learn so I've put that kind of time in, a little bit of quiet time. And then I have my time where I first go through all my emails. I just put on my schedule, a little Excel sheet at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have it blocked out and I just follow that. I say, okay, this is my time to work. I know I don't really have to work, but I really do need to work because the bigger picture, the world hasn't stopped and we need to keep moving forward and we need to be doing stuff. So, and then in the evenings is my learning time. So either we watch more shows now. So every night I just said, no, let's screw it. We're going to watch an hour or 2 hours of a show. Usually do it once a week. Now we're doing almost 5 days a week. We're just watching a show, relaxing, chilling, giving ourselves that grace. Don't have to be super productive. And then after that, then I take the last, after we watch that, I take some time to read books and learn because I am trying to get some other stuff up and online. So that's pretty much it for me. Just doing it. It really comes down to discipline and seeing the bigger picture and seeing what's really happening so that you can put that vision in your mind, say, I see this future. I see where I want to be. I see what I want to get done. And it's not going to happen by me spending 8 hours a day cleaning my bathroom and my kitchen again and cleaning my garage again and cleaning the family room again and then clean everything I can. I mean, at some point, you just have to say, you got to look at that vision and then put something in yourself. Usually when you write things down, that helps you to kind of make it more real and just like goals. So for me, I think helping me to do that, it's really different for everyone. It's really hard. My heart goes out to people like my wife who really rely on a schedule to keep them disciplined. And when that schedule's kind of blown up, it's been really hard for her to adjust. And so that at the same time, if that's not you and you're not doing well with it, I just say have some grace. If you can get through this time and once your clients are ready and you just get ramping back and going, then you're going to be fine. Enjoy this.
Paul, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking, maybe 2 or 3 weeks we get back to business, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we hear a lot on the TV media and stuff, how they want to bring back restaurants, how they want to bring back small business. But in reality, we're being taught right now not to touch face or things like that, and there's even some funny little media things out there where people are in garbage bags and,
Yeah.
doing people's hair with, clippers or something.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your take on like how that's going to kind of roll out as we get back into?
No, that's actually one of my biggest concerns about our industry that really could really hurt us. If they decide to keep social distancing in place and saying we can't be near each other, touch each other, like they're talking about workplaces having 6 feet between stations, and then restaurants. I even saw a place saying restaurants are going to force you to be 6 feet apart and have like plastic barriers and stuff. I know if you go to the store now, there's a plastic barrier at Albertsons in front of the worker. So they're looking to install those things in restaurants and other stores and so forth. So this is my biggest concern actually right now is if they say you cannot touch or be near anyone, you can go to the restaurant, but you have to stay away from your server. They can bring you food and that's about it. What are they going to do about us where we touch people? That's our job, to touch people.
Right.
And I am concerned that they might say that you're not allowed to do. And so for us, it is very possible that they may say no more. I'm sorry, in the beauty industry, hairstylists, lashers.
Well, what about doctors? They touch people all the time.
Well, doctors are essential. People's health is essential.
But beauty is essential too. And I would beg to differ. I've got to say though, we are all trained, and especially when we go to school, the bulk of what we learned is sanitation. Yep. And we're getting a lot of people out there that are talking about how to promote our industry through, how we practice sanitation. So maybe there might be a way around. It'd be great to get a big master Zoom group together on, how to bring that back, because it concerns me too,
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, there's not a ton I think we can do. And I don't think they're going to go that far. I think they realize they can't just lay off one industry in the world and say, everyone else can go back to work, but the beauty industry, all you guys, sorry, you're kind of screwed. I don't think they're going to do it. But I think, like we just need to be very proactive. So I know Tussane's going to be wearing a mask from now on. That's just part of the deal. Yeah. We are also looking at changing our aesthetic for our gowns to have a gown that's very clean, white, very looks like almost like a doctor's office, that she will have multiple gowns. Even thinking that we might even get one for every client, so that she would just change her box, so to speak, per client. And then obviously we are with the beds. We usually have sheets and blankets. We're probably going to take the blanket off and get rid of the blanket and just have sheets and just change all the sheets between every client and the towels. And then also we will wipe down all surfaces between every client. And meanwhile, the masks, because we don't have the N95s, don't help with you getting sick. They do help you stop spreading it. So if Tussane were to get sick, she wouldn't be spreading it with the mask on. It would help slow down the spread. And that's the main thing to be concerned about. That's why we should be wearing masks. We're not trying to wear masks to stop getting sick. We're wearing masks so we don't, if we unknowingly are sick, would be spreading the disease, which is what's scary about this disease. Is we don't know. You can be sick for 2, 3, 4 days sometimes, not know, and be infecting everyone during those days. So that's what we would do. And I think as long as we follow those guidelines, my gut is the government's going to be like, yeah, that's what you need to do. Don't get too crazy, coming in garbage bags, whatever it is. So
well, the thing is I was at the post office the other day, right? And there's this shield in between and stuff, and everybody's wearing their masks, no gloves, and they're touching their mask, moving their mask, touching the counter, and when I went up to the counter, I didn't have a mask on or gloves, but I bring barbicide, something called Lycoside, which is even better with me everywhere I go. I spray down the surface because they don't, right? I spray down the little, checker thing, and I show everybody in the place that I'm doing this, you know what I mean? Because that's really the best thing to do, whether you're wearing a mask or is, just everybody's going to touch that counter. And we do this on a regular basis as a profession. We're constantly between each, client as we do that.
Yeah, I mean, Tussane has it down. Any moment she touches anything other than her tools, she instantly sanitizes her hands. Just automatically. The client, she tells the client, you'll hear this every once in a while because, if she has to reach over and touch her phone for a second, instantly sanitize her hands. And then, this is what it does. And she does that throughout the whole process. And that's just normal for any beauty professional, you know that you can't be touching other things and working on a client and risking them. So yes, I think as long as we follow those protocols, most likely they're going to allow us to keep going. I just think it's pretty draconian to go to the secret stream and also say everyone go back to working but beauty professionals.
Right.
I just think that.
Well, one of the things that they're going to be is big events, and luckily between the two of us, our events are actually at a very hot time, you know.
Yeah.
And they are also smaller events where you know you could practice more of the social distance guidelines, you know. So I think we're actually. So what are you looking at keeping your date for the podcast? I mean, not the podcast, the
event.
Lash
Yeah,
Conference?
Lash Conference. Actually, we are looking probably to postpone ours most likely. I think I'm about 99% sure we're going to postpone ours. I think yours is in the perfect spot. You're in July, like you said. Everyone believes this will be pretty done probably by June, July, and gone from a very minimal level at least during that time. It will start popping up again October, November, and then it'll be fully. We'll have COVID season fully again during the winter and into the spring again next year. So but that all said, we're just having some second thoughts about doing the event. Part of it is because we have not been selling tickets. We stopped everything. We were just about to start about a month ago. So it was like, oh, now we're not going to do it. So we're talking to the hotel, looking at other dates possibly. There's still a chance we could keep it. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens over these next 2 weeks and waiting to hear what the governments are going to be recommending, and reading more about the virus. I think we'll know more information. And if they're like, yeah, actually September, the virus will still be, which I think you believe, and I think probably won't be a big deal in September, but we don't know for sure. I mean, this is the first time we've seen this virus, and while most coronaviruses dissipate or go down during the summer, it's not 100%. The virus has been spreading, I've been told, I haven't checked recently, but in Australia, New Zealand, and other southern places where it had been summer. So if it was spreading there, then it doesn't mean necessarily the heat keeps it away. So we'll see. I'm hoping it is. I think there's a good chance it will be, and hopefully we'll all be together in July and maybe even September. We'll see.
Yes. So tell us a little bit. You're going to be talking about, your class is going to be about turning your clients into fans.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that. So.
Yeah, you bet. Now the big thing with us, I always think that, a lot of people talking about finding new clients, and you got to find new clients. Everyone's teaching you how to use Instagram. Everyone's an Instagram expert, and I not all are, by the way. It's because you say you are doesn't make you an expert. You really got to look at their way they do things, and just because I have a pretty page doesn't mean they're an expert. That just means they have good color theory. So yes, that's one thing you can do. You can go out there and you can build a great Instagram, build a good website, and really market yourself and get your word out. Or what I think you can really do, which is probably the best way to build your business, is make your current people that see you your greatest fans, because they will become your disciples and your evangelists. They will go out and bring in new people into your business much better than you putting a post on Instagram, on Facebook, and other places. And yes, people will find you and they'll see your ads. Like, oh yeah, one of a million people. I don't care. But when your friend says, oh my gosh, you got to go to my gal, she's amazing, then all of a sudden that person is going to feel much more compelled to go there. Oh, there's my wife.
Hi, you so good.
You're on tomorrow.
We'll be seeing you tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
So the idea is, I think we should be spending more time trying to create our fans and really get them to become our evangelists and get the word out. Because when we did surveys of our clients, when we used to have a staff of 13, we would get, 100, we'd have 800, 900 people coming to our salon every month. And when we had that many people coming in, I would just do surveys once in a while, ask them questions, learn about what they like, what they don't. And one of the things I want to find is, how do you all find us? 50% of the people that came into our salon were from other friend referrals, 50%. Yeah. So, and then 43% came from Yelp. So really, when you looked at 93% of all our clients came because of a referral, not because they found a page or Instagram page or any of that. So I realized at that point, really our biggest friend, our biggest ally was to reach out to their own people and get them to talk about us, give them tools, things that they could do to hand out to their friends to get new clients in. So that really became our number one way of building our business, and that's how we got the 7 digits instead of
So
just
Paul,
being
that's exactly what I'm sorry to pop back in again, but that's exactly how the skin games came about, right? Because we have people trying to get results, they're trying to win a contest, they're trying to win cash, right? And while they're doing that, they are talking about how they're, how they were trained, what, lashes they use, what skincare they, whatever, right? So it's the same thing. People say, "Oh, I saw my friend, she was using that, her lashes are really good." And so I want that, so that's exactly the way that the skin games is supposed to work, the same way it's referral.
That's how I found out about you guys. Our friend Molly, who's on in 2 days with you guys, we met her just this, it was in March or April of that last year, and then she told us you guys, and we also knew Janelle Paris from Lash Affair, and she also told us about you guys. So that's really how we learned about you guys, and it was all referral. It wasn't a marketing or advertising or anything like that, even though you guys do that too. But really, we found out through friends and people who loved you guys and love what you're doing, and they said, "Oh, you guys got to check this out." So that's, for me, that's what this whole talk is going to be about, is helping you think through what are you doing right now to wow your client? What can you do to upgrade that? And what things can you do to get them to become your evangelist, so that they go out and they start telling friends and talking to other people. We're going to go through some exercises and some things, worksheets and stuff that help you do that and help you think that process through. And then there's a book that I recommend. I'll just recommend it here because you should maybe read it before we meet. And that is Never Lose a Client Again by Joey Coleman. It's the best customer service book I've ever read, and it's gold. And actually,
Never
so
Lose
gold.
A Client Again by who again?
Joey Coleman.
Joey Coleman.
So, and we're going to have him at our conference, by the way. So that's how much of a fan I am of this guy. He's one of our keynote speakers at the Lash Conference, and he's a national speaker, speaks all the time at big business conferences around the country. And so we're very fortunate to have him join us. But that's a book I highly recommend.
We're fortunate to have you because you're so amazing. So we're really lucky to have you, and can't wait for your class. Can't wait for your training. And so please just tell everybody again about your podcast. We're going to get ready to leave in a minute. So just tell us the name of the podcast, and then also the conference where people can
the conference. Our pride and joy is our conference that we've been podcasts we love too, but the conference for us was a kind of like a culmination of years of work that finally all came together, and that's called the Lash Conference, also referred to as LashCon as our nickname. We've officially can't call it that, but we hope people will continue to call it LashCon because I just think it's such a cool name. And that will be most likely, if we do it this year, it'll be September. If not, we don't have the new date yet. We're still working on other dates. And that this year we had about 300 people last year. I don't know what's going to be this year, to be honest, because it just depends on dates, but we were going to have
about 500. That was your first year, right?
Yeah, first year, Yeah. Well, I think we really hit a nerve with business for people, and I think it really helped people out. So that will be happening, and that will be focused still on business. We're not at people who say, "Oh, can you add in lashes?" And I'm like, no, guys, there's so many other places where you can learn lashes. You can go to Skin Games, you're going to learn lashes. You can go to all these Hollywood Lash Conference, learn where Michelle's, you can learn lashes. You can go all these other places, but really, if you want just business, that's what we're about. We're really trying to focus on one thing only. That could change in the future, but that's where we're going to be at for this year. And you can go to the lashconference.com. If you go there now, you can't buy any tickets, but you can go on and check out and read up on it and see who's going to be speaking and all that. So that'll give you at least the information. You can see if it's something you're really interested in. Then secondly, our podcast is LashCast Podcast, or I like to try shorten it out, just LashCast. It's on every major platform other than iHeartRadio. So you can find it pretty much anywhere, everywhere. We have a YouTube page called LashCast also, where you can actually watch us now do our podcast, at least these live ones. While we're doing it at home, we're going to do it live. I don't know if we'll continue to do it live when we have other guests on. We may look into it. I know there's Zoom and all these other tools out there now to do it, but that's where you can find us, LashCast. And then our Instagram page, go to @LashCast Podcast or at the Lash Conference, and you can always find out updates, information. And if you go to our Instagram page at LashCast Podcast, that one is really the key page. If you want to follow and just know what's up to date, If you want information that helps your business, we have links to all the different business options out there, pages from either the Professional Beauty Association or from Strategies, one of the coaching companies we love. And we share all this information with you. Qunity, another company we love. We share that, what's the best of the best that will help you with your business. So you go there, go to the link in the bio, and you can find everything you need. And we are doing a giveaway right now. If you want the audio from LashCon 2019, it's all free. We're giving away 24 talks that happened, all for free, no cost to you. You just have to use a discount code FREE TALKS. Normally it was $300, but once this whole thing
that's
fell
amazing, Paul. That's like the whole conference from last year with the
whole conference.
Wow, okay.
Minus maybe 3 or 4 talks that got muffed up in the recording process. But yeah, 24 talks. You can go listen to Lash Conference from last year, get all the inspiration, all the information, all the tips that you need to grow your business for this year. And you may need a lot more help now with all the craziness and a little bit more encouragement. We're all these speakers were really good at giving you step-by-step, do this, do this, do this. It wasn't platitudes. It wasn't just, hey, do better, believe in yourself, aim for the sky. Yeah, great. But we said, no, give us really practical things that you can do that will help you change and grow your business, because that's what we all need. We all know that we need to do better. We all aspire to be great. But what sometimes happens is while someone says, go be great, it's like, well, how do I be great? Well, that's what we do. We try to break it down so you know exactly what you need to do to be great. And so all those talks have that. That's all free. Just go to our page, the LashCast podcast. Go to the link in the bio. Right at the top there, say click here. Use that discount code, and you are good to go. So I think that's everything. That's all we're doing right now. So hopefully it's helpful, and hopefully you guys will feel encouraged and give you something useful and productive during this downtime you have to learn and grow. And then when you're ready to get going, when this all ends, you'll be roaring and motivated to take on the world.
Nice. So one last thing, guys, he'll be on our education panel. So if you just want to know about your business and you're not a lasher, you can definitely take his course, or his class will be July 30th, the Thursday, and it will be turn your clients into fans, correct?
Yeah, not Lash fans, but fanatics, we'll just say.
Fanatics. Okay, that's funny. So don't forget to follow Paul and definitely listen to his podcast. I really love it. Like I said, I go for walks, and it just kind of keeps me a little bit focused on something else instead of just looking at the news and all that crazy stuff that's going out there. Paul, thank you so much for being on our show.
For one question, somebody wanted to know what the code was.
Oh.
Yeah, free talks. So free FREE talks TALKS. It actually says that when you go to the page, it'll say enter this discount code. So it's there to remind you in case you forget. So
that is so awesome, Paul. That's so sweet that you're doing that for everybody. That's great.
You
bet.
bet.
I love that because they're always giving free information out there. So guys, please follow them. They always give, only thing they ask is for you to follow their podcast. So please follow them. A lot of great information, and we're super excited to have them in our education panel. So please, if you want to know more about your business, go ahead. Oh, there's Molly. Hi, Molly.
Yeah. Hey, Molly.
I just sound like, oh, there's Molly. Okay, well, tomorrow we have Tussane, which she's Paul's wife. She'll be here tomorrow. Anything else you want to add, Jennifer?
What was that?
Anything else you want to add?
Nope. I'm going to go and let you guys close out. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paul, again for being here. One last thing I have to say is every time you, one thing I really like, I'm not really religious. Well, I do believe, but I'm not really religious. But I do like a lot that when you guys finish your podcast, you always end up with a little prayer. And it's just, so it's not really, it's just something that it's just inspiring, Wow. So I really, really enjoy that. So that's it. But thank you guys so much. Thank you, Paul, for being here. And I will see you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.